Hello and welcome to CEO Studios Milestone Presentation for Psyche Break. For the team members, we have myself, Colton Kirshner, which I'm the team lead, programmer, level designer, and I also do the integration and build integrity. We have L White, they do project management, design, concept art, and modeling and rigging. And we have Oliver Zink, which is sound engineering, modeling, and design. For mechanics, what we have so far is split up into two categories. I've done melee combat and procedural generation for the dungeon. For melee combat, we have two different melee weapons, a light sword and a heavy sword with animations all for them. And I use anim notifies to talk to the code and make things run very smoothly. And we have four different melee attacks, a light attack combo, a heavy attack, a charge attack, and a running attack. We also have a directional dodge, and we have a basic stat system for damage, health, and simple player death. And for the procedural generation of the dungeon, we have 5 different rooms that all spawn off of each other. And we have multiple floors. This is done by adding that staircase room that can go up and then have an exit point to spawn stuff off of it from the top. And we have simple spawning mechanics for loot and obstacles to spawn. And with that kind of mechanic, I can easily spawn enemies for the level as well as anything else that we want to spawn. Moving into the actual game here for a little demo, this is what the procedural generation looks like for the dungeon. As you can see, it all spawns randomly and it all has a run timer to make sure that it doesn't try to generate for too long or it will start to regenerate something different. And I also have a seed system to where I can reuse this level if I want to. And as you can see, if I hit it again, it's all randomized again. And it fills in all the holes for the other exits and spawns in all sorts of stuff. And I have a simple door system that uses physics so the player can push through the doors, as you can see right here. Moving into the hub level to show off the combat, I have a way to holster and unholster the weapon, and you can use these to equip different weapons as well. And if we show you some of the combos, we have the 3 attack light combo, like I said before. We have a charged attack, a heavy attack, a running attack, and as you can see the player death there, and a simple dodge. Moving into showcasing this spline tool that I made, you can select these points and drag it out as far as you want, and moving into the details panel, an artist can simply choose what meshes to use to populate these the spline. For example, you can go to the wall and choose any sort of wall that you want and it will populate, and you can just continue to drag off that and it will continuously populate that, and you can move this to start bending it. You have options for adding in doors, making it an enclosed room, adding in a floor, and all sorts of stuff, and using pillars to hide anything that you don't want to be seen, and so on and so forth. As you can see, it all works well together. And then if you hold shift and hit T, you can make it a hard corner there, and you can add in other such meshes to make it all look good. Moving back into the presentation for the white box deliverables, we have the hub level done, and that's what I kind of showcased in the little demo there. We have the dimensions and level flow blocked out. For the dungeon, we have multiple blocked out rooms used to generate off of each other, and we have that spline tool that I made to make white boxing a whole lot faster. And we have the screenshot of the hub level and the art that I did before making the white box. For the next mechanic goals, I would like to get the procedural generation done for the dungeon, and all I really need to do to get that done is add a boss room functionality that only spawns once and spawns the boss inside of it, and then get the spawn enemies with the navigation working, and that will not take a whole lot of time at all with the systems I have right now. And for the combat mechanics, we have a targeting system that I still need to do, and making a more advanced system for stats that tracks stamina, armor, and mana, as well as a hit reaction to make it the combat feel a little bit more engaging and interactable, and a healing system so the player can heal the health. It's probably similar to using flasks in Dark Souls. And then making the enemy AI what needs to be done here is AI patrol, AI perception, enemy combat, and different enemy types. And then start the boss AI. And the boss AI won't take as much time as the enemy AI will be, because I can reuse a lot of the code to make the boss AI work in a similar fashion to the enemy AI. And for the next white box goals, we have the arena level that I still need to do and start and finish that up, as well as set up all the environmental hazards. If you look over at the final boss arena orthographic view that I made, you can see those dark holes that the player can fall into for environmental hazards, and you can see the dimensions and the overall plan on what that will look like, and that will not take nearly as long to make as the hub level, since I have that spline tool now. And there needs to be a little bit more work done on the hub level, specifically adding in functionality for the doors to enter the dungeons, and then starting an art pass for that. And then for the dungeon, all I really need to do is add more detail and maybe add some more room variation so it looks a little bit more interesting. And that's all what I need to do for the mechanics and the white box for this semester. Everything else will be done next semester.
Hi, my name is Elle, and I am the project manager and lead designer and artist for this project. And I am going to go over our concept art deliverables as well as touch on Jira and our Confluence pages. This is our level concept art as well as our main character and abilities artwork. I have here our mini boss designs as well as enemy designs. There are some things that aren't super finished yet, so I kept them off the presentation, but there is a lot more to show. Our Jira and Confluence pages, especially our game design document, are things I do want to touch on and show off a little bit because I have put a lot of effort into that to keep us on track for this project. I am going to break off to show that off. I'm just going to go over our next goal details here now. Hopefully for the next milestone, we'll have our UI done. Not necessarily art-wise done, but we hope to have functionality done. We need to have our start menu, pause menu, and HUD done. And with the HUD specifically, we need to have our health bar and ability slots working with those programming that Colton has done. We are also going to try and get our modeling and texturing done as well. That specifically is going to be around our main character model, mini boss models, and character items. And then we're also going to start texturing our character models and level textures here soon as well. So I'm going to break off and show off that game design document a little bit, and then I will pass it along. This is our game design document. I have exported it as a PDF just so it's a little bit easier to scroll through because it can be difficult, but I wanted to show that we have a table of contents with all of our specific bits organized, as well as the Confluence table of contents. It's just a little bit easier to view it sometimes this way. We have everything in here. We have been trying to keep this as updated as possible. I am going to jump to sections that I did want to show off specifically that are helping us stay on track. So our expected asset list, I went through and completely updated to try and keep us on track of what's the most important. This is obviously not as long as it needs to be, but it was a good start. And then we also have our milestone deliverable targets. This is a little bit unfinished, but since it is something that is a work in progress, we are just updating this as the weeks go on, make sure that we're staying on task. We also have here our check-in, check-out system, as well as our story point estimation guide. We feel this is going to be the easiest way for us to all stay on the same page of what's expected of us. But yeah, that's what I wanted to show off, and I'll pass it along.
All right, rounding out the section of this milestone checkup, we actually have the modeling. Instead of trying to talk about it, it'd be easier if I just showed you. So right now we have all of the base meshes to fill out the level and just add environment. So we've got our door, barrel, gem collectible, box, and floor gem. I've also been working on, which is not in the slides, this new sword so that we have our own weapon instead of a pre-made. And for the enemy meshes, you saw them there already on the slide, but here they are. Currently, I haven't done a lot since making them, but I've been looking into rigging I'm still unsure of. Yeah, I've been looking into rigging instead of a different method. So right now we've got this hand that's rigged. And then we've got our little crystal eye guy. Currently, my next goals personally are to get one of these guys rigged and start making the meshes more complete from Whitebox. But going back to the slides, the other thing that I've been working on is certain vector-based HUD elements. So we've got our empty health bar, empty item slot, and empty ability slot. I also had to make a vector HUD concept. This is the current concept we're working on for the main menu. Here's our character holding one of his gems. And that's all I gotta say, so thank you for listening.